In 2011. It's been a while now because this year, December, will mark the 12th year. I was young then, with very young children, because I had a 2-year-old and I was 5 months pregnant with our son. On our way from Karen, to Mombasa Road along the Southern Bypass, we meet with some thugs, some bad boys, and they were armed, and they were shooting. So they shot at our car, and whoever shot was precise enough to just hit him on the head, because he was shot, and that was it. There were no goodbyes. It was sudden. I didn't know what was happening. I hear gunshots, and I'm thinking they're shooting somebody else, but it was us they were shooting at, and I had not seen them. Yeah, so James died there and then. He died on the spot. Within 5 minutes time, I think, he had stopped breathing. Somehow, I got through, but it wasn't easy. How is it easy when you lose your husband so suddenly, not planned for it, not prepared for it? You've got 2 young children. And I think as a mother or as a woman, you tend to forget your pain and carry the pain of your children. Yeah, because I could see my baby girl then, the firstborn is a girl, she was 2+. She had lots of questions. I'm trying to put myself at her place to understand what she's going through. It wasn't easy, but we maneuvered through. 4 months down the line, I gave birth to our son. It was not an easy experience either, having to bring him forward when the father is not here. Because remember, I'm grieving, I'm mourning, I'm trying to, wrap my life around what is really happening. Because you never process death. Till today, I still ask what really happened, You never really understand it. You never really come to terms with it. It's something that you just have to, you heal, yes. I can't say that I'm where I was 11 years ago or 7 years ago. The healing process is there, you go through it, but I think you never really understand death. You never really come to terms with what is this thing, and why do our loved ones have to go? But I can say that healing is a journey. You become better with time. But also I've come to realize that you've got to bring yourself to the position where you accept to heal. Because you can also deny yourself the ability to heal. You can, what I call, get your life stuck at the moment. At times I just feel that we were created with the ability to just go through life and these processes that you might really not explain, but accept the love of the people around you that they are offering you, accept the support. Because you can be in the place of pain but still do not want to heal. And there are people that will offer you love for you to heal, that will support you, that will carry you along with them, during this moment because you need it. And that helps you, makes things easier. I went for counseling. I took my children for counseling. I went for spiritual therapy, because I had to understand the spiritual perspective of the whole situation, get a pastor to work with me, and those are things that I deliberately did. Yeah, I was very intentional about my healing, because the pain was so intense that I didn't want it, because I knew that if I stayed in that very moment, it's either I would get into depression or commit suicide or not be mentally stable to take care of my children. So it's something that I needed out. I just needed out as fast as I could. So I sought for help. Who can help me get out of this thing? Because I just knew if I remained there, it's either depression, it's either committing suicide, I needed to be sane for my children. I tell people I'm right now in the place of clarity. One thing about pain is that is that you get into deep darkness. My pain, let me talk about my pain. I don't know about others, but my pain brought me to a place of darkness, you know. I didn't know what to do with my life. I suddenly, you know, found myself lost, you know. I'm thinking, I felt so lost. I felt so confused. I felt so disabled. You know, I just felt like I couldn't do anything with my life. You know, I felt so disabled that if you could tell me to do anything, there's nothing I would literally, and that's, you know, the crippling power of pain. And I believe probably it's many people when they are in grief, you know, they go through that. I don't know, but that is the place I found myself in, darkness. I just didn't know what to do. Suddenly I feel that I can't raise these children. I can't figure out my life. And so I needed to, you know, that was darkness that was for some time. And with time, you know, I got out, you know. I came to the place of clarity, and this is a place where I learned to dream again. Remember, when I lost my husband, it's like every dream that I had for my life went with him, you know. I don't know if that happens to other women, but that is what, you know, I felt. You know, dreams, plans, goals that we had, it's like everything just went down the drain. And I found myself having to plan how to begin my life again. You know, I've got to start again. I've got to know how to figure out my finances again. I've got to know how to parent my children again, plan for my life again, you know, without him, because it's like everything was just wrapped around him. I would drive around crying. I would wonder, what am I doing in this car alone? Going to church. I mean, I would go to church because we'd go to church together, and I would sit alone and I would just cry the whole service. You know, I would wonder, God, I mean, you mean he will never be here again? Yeah, those things do happen. Yeah, driving around, you know, going to church, just being in the house, you know, the house became very empty, you know, became so big. You know, it became so big without his presence in it. Yeah, and you've got the dining table. I mean, it's just the small things that, and those small things can hold you.
Yeah.
You need to take steps forward, but they can make you remain at that very place. Yeah, and it takes there is nothing I changed. As a matter of fact, I moved out of the house we lived in 3 years ago. People kept on telling me, Mary, and you need to move out of this house, and I'll tell them it doesn't matter. Even the place I will go, he will still not be there. So I lived in that house for a very long time, even with this. And I think for me it was also healing. It was therapy, you know, being at the place we spent our lives in, because that's a house we had moved in when we got married. So for me, it was a therapy, and that's why I never felt that I should move. So when I felt, yes, when I felt ready to move out of the house because of many other reasons, then yes, I moved out. I thank God that I had friends that were very deliberate with me. Could be they realized that this girl, if I leave her, she will just be in her own world. And yeah, I had people that reached out to me. And as I told you, I was very deliberate about my healing, because it wasn't a good place I was in. And when I realized this is not a good place to be in, I had to make up my mind to be out as fast as possible. So yeah, there are those very few, I can say 1, 2, 3 friends that I really reached out to and that availed themselves for me. Told me, Mary, anytime you just feel bad, I'm only a phone call away. So I would call. An introvert, yes, but I had a few friends, and I would also reach out to them. I would just write down my feelings for the day, you know. I would write, today I was good, you know, because there are moments when you're just good. You know, a day will go by and you're just fine. You know, it's like the sunshine is all over you. You're just okay. Then other days, wow. I mean, it's just floods of tears. So I would just write down my feelings. You know, today was a good day. I missed him. You know, I did this and the other. Or my experience with the children, because my children are also part of my journey. There are moments when my daughter would just realize that, Mom, you're not fine. And she was young. Yeah, and and she'd ask me, "You're missing daddy?" Yes, I'm missing daddy. And so it was just writing down what I was feeling, my feelings, my experiences, and some time down the line, I realized that I'm getting better. You know, probably the tears are less. I've accepted the journey because, you know, after the burial, that's when you accept the reality hits, because watching the casket go down and covering the grave, I think that's a moment in itself. It's a moment in itself, because sometimes my mind goes back to that moment, and believe you me, the emotions just come up. But after the burial, there is a closure. You know, you feel, yeah, he's gone. You know, he's gone. He will never be part of us. And our journey begins. And that's when I thought of beginning to write a book. I realized that I've written a lot, and I realized that it's been a journey. You know, I'm not where I was. There are things I've embraced, there are things I've laid down, there are things I've reconciled myself with, and I'm slowly beginning to accept, not to accept, but I'm slowly beginning to embrace my life, a life on my own, you know. So I began just slowly writing the healing process, because the healing is a journey, it's a process, and you totally heal. Yes, I don't know when this happens. I can't say that I've totally healed, but I'm in a good place. I had looked for a book after my husband died. Honestly, I went through every bookshop. I was looking for a book on grief. How do you accept the loss of a loved one? And I found none. And I thought probably I should do this for somebody, you know, who will be in a place, or who will have a need to understand what they are going through. I may not really help them, but make the journey easier. And believe you me, I have received phone calls from people that have read my book and told me, "Mary, your book helped me get out of depression." One instance is a lady who got my book from somebody, and she went through it, and she told me that her husband died when she was 30. Now she's 50, and my book helped her begin a fresh journey. Wow. And I really felt for her, because I wouldn't want somebody stuck for 20 years. You know, you can't move on. I mean, 20 years is so much of your life that, and you know, that really encouraged me, that it helped her move on with her life. Because believe you me, getting stuck at the moment is so easy. And sometimes it's a comfortable place to be. Yeah. It's a comfortable place to be. It takes a lot of courage to want to step away from what feels familiar and what feels familiar to you. Because me sticking around the graveside of James and mourning and crying for him, probably I feel I'm doing him justice. I'm doing myself. After all, I loved him, but it's not good. I mean, it takes a lot of courage to want to move on with your life than staying at the place where you are familiar with. And I'm grateful that I wrote that book, because it has helped several people. I have a friend of mine who is going through divorce right now, and he told me, he's a male, he told me that my book helped him not get into depression, because that is loss in a way. He did not bury, but they separated with the wife. And you know, the very things I've put into the book are the very things he practiced and helped him not get into depression, because he almost got into depression. So just knowing that my book is therapy to somebody, is helping somebody, gives me joy. You will have triggers here and there. I've got children that look like their dad. So I think with the children really trigger you. And my children had another journey altogether. That I remember at 4 years old, my son joined school, and one day he comes from baby class in tears, the first term, and he tells me, "Mommy, why don't we have a father in this house?" He just joined school and realized that most homes have a father and a mother, but in his family there's only a mother. And now we had to begin a journey with him. I needed to explain to him that he has a father who is not here. His father is in heaven, and walk that journey with the boy till he is at a place where he understands death, and he understands that people die, and daddy died, and we buried him. Why I mentioned that is that those are triggers. You want to have a closure, but you have triggers around you. Let me tell you, anytime my children will bring about the father, sometimes it takes me back. My daughter joined high school this year, first term, and when she joined school, she had her own issues. And the school that she joined, I've got a very strong counseling department. And one day I'm called by the counselor at school. She tells me, "Your daughter is mourning the death of her father." And I told her, I told the counselor, "But Gloria's dad did not die last year. He died 10 years ago." And she told me that I assumed that my daughter had grieved like I had, but she hadn't. At 14 years, she's now finally grieving the loss of her father. Now, that was another thing altogether. So there are triggers. The moments you want to... I've had closure as Mary, but you see, my children have their journey with this man that was my husband, and I've got to step into their lives and also help them through. Because sometimes now they become the point. Let me tell you, first term, that was March, April and May was not easy for me, because my daughter then till now, we are still walking her through the journey. And the counselor told me that she was bound to, it was bound to happen to her, because I assumed that she grieved. She was a baby. She never understood what was happening. But now at 14, she comes to the realization that daddy died. And probably at school, every other girl is talking about daddy and the interactions with their father. Then now she has to do her thing. I want tomorrow my children to tell their story like I'm telling, from a place of wholeness, from a place of they triumphed over their pain. So I step in and help them. And that has happened, especially with my son. I think for my daughter is an introvert. So she went through, she closed the thing. I've worked with my son because he talks. So we've talked with my son. He's, because he never met the dad. I was pregnant when he died. So he's seen the photos. We've talked about the dad. We've discussed about him. And in as much as it takes you back there, but you've got to help your children. And for my daughter, I really thank God for her school. They really just came up behind her because they all understood her, her class teacher, the counseling department, the chaplain, and of course asking me to go as often as I can so that we can help her, overcome as quickly as possible. I think 2 years after I gave away all his clothes, whatever I could give away. Yeah, but you see that some things you don't give away. Even till today, I have his passport, I have his driving license. There are things that you just can't give away, but the clothes, whatever I could give away, I gave away. Yeah, and it's also another form of closure.
It helps.
It helps. Okay. Yeah, because remember for me, I told you I wanted out of the pain.
Yeah.
Because I had been left with small children, and believe you me, there are moments I would feel the pain choking me, literally feel like I'm losing my life. So I wanted to heal as fast as I can. So I deliberately did whatever it is that could help me recover and be whole.